Hey guys, I'll keep this one quick. I was going through some of the responses that I've received pretty much every week on my Michel Thomas reviews, both on YouTube and on my blog. I talked about Michel Thomas. You might remember it's been quite a while now, and I was very harsh with my criticism. I don't think it's a good methodology. I think that that there are a lot of issues with the program that I pointed out in my review. So that was with the Arabic version that they sent out as a sample. In response to that, they sent out a second sample of Greek, and I've been working through that this year. So I'm kind of revisiting my review, and I'm probably going to do a follow-up review on it, just because I've had a slightly different experience with the Greek one. I still think it's not a good methodology, but I have definitely found the Greek one to be slightly better than the Arabic one. But yeah, I was going over some of the comments, the responses that I've received about Michel Thomas. And one thing that I found really interesting, that's kind of been a theme, has been that people overwhelmingly have defended Michel Thomas. Like I'd say like the ratio was almost like 8 to 2, you know, like 8 people sharply criticizing me and 2 people agreeing. It's really been it's been interesting just to see how many people have jumped to the defense of Michel Thomas, and I was kind of just thinking now, I was kind of pondering, why would that be that people would be so religiously, I mean, maybe it's because it's a great program and people are just saying it's great. But no, I thought about it and I was like, I wonder why people are so quick to defend. And I think in this particular case, as I think more about Michel Thomas and I go through the Greek one, is that Michel Thomas gives you a sense of knowing more. Like you walk away from a session, you're told not to memorize, not to study later on, not to try hard to remember. It's all on the teacher, and you kind of walk away from a session. You're expected to walk away from a session feeling like you have learned a lot, like you've acquired a lot, like you've gone through the process, and you've had a whole lot of stuff explicitly explained to you by a teacher, right? And I thought about the difference between feeling like you've learned a language versus feeling like you've learned about a language. So I think it's a really important distinction to make, that about, like, you know, you might sit in a session for a language that you don't know for an hour or however long it is, and you come away having a lot explained to you, and so you feel like your knowledge of that topic has grown, right? You've learned more about it. But in terms of actually learning in terms of actually absorbing the language and being able to use it, you haven't learned anything, or you've learned very little. What you know, if you were to watch a 1 hour long video where a guitar instructor teaches you how to play the guitar, you might walk away from that video feeling like you learned how to play the guitar, or you learned a little bit about it. Whereas when you go to pick up a guitar and actually play it, you realize you don't know it at all, like you've never actually practiced. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's where the criticism is coming from, is that people have this sense of, you know, and a lot of people have come and said, oh, well, you know, I learned German in, you know, such and such a matter of weeks with Michel Thomas. And you think, well, okay, did you really, you know, or did you just do the sessions and feel like you learned a lot about German, you know, and then maybe you went and built on that later on with other things and actual practice. So that's kind of the observation I've made. I really think that this religious devotion to a method, this religious devotion to a style or a teaching, you know, it's interesting to see, and I guess I want to put that to you as a question too. Like, is there a method or a style of teaching or something, a program that maybe you felt religiously devoted to, that you have to defend, or you know, maybe you've seen people like this where they just, you know, I've seen it with Rosetta Stone as well. You know, there are people out there who swear by it, you know, and they don't accept criticism of it. And then there are people who obviously, sharply reject it. Majority of people probably sharply reject it. So it's this kind of devotion. It's just this devotion to something that you perceive to be a successful method, which isn't really. So I kind of have thought that the more I look at the comments, the more I see the responses I've received, the more I go through the Michel Thomas Greek package that I received, I'm like, yeah, I can see why people would think that this is a really, really great method. They've learned a lot about the language, the target language. It's given them a sense of learning more. It's given them a sense of success. But in terms of actual practicality, they probably haven't really done anything. They probably haven't really gotten that far at all. So anyway, I want to put that to you as a question. Have you seen that yourself? Am I wrong? Comment. Thanks.